Welcome back to A Misogyny. I'm your host, Hannah Blue. This is episode 24, discussing my favorite K-dramas. I'm keeping this episode very light and fun, with good reason. I'm trying to get my mental health back into a happy place again. Therefore, nothing dark or triggering will be covered today. Now, some of the K-dramas I'll tell you about do have dark subject matter, but I'm going to gloss right over it and only tell you about the silver linings I found in each one. Love and light can be found in just about anything if you look for it. All of these dramas can be found on Netflix, and let me tell you, I enjoyed every single one of them. Our first K-drama, Narco Saints. This is one of two K-dramas I watched with my sister when we visited her in Ohio last year. It was pretty good. Narco Saints starts with a hardworking father who thinks he's found the fast, easy way to good money. But what he finds is a preacher who isn't really a preacher and a whole lot of trouble. He and his friend go on a mission to sell skate. They thought it was a pretty good idea to make money. What they didn't know is they would be set up and take the fall by a ruthless drug kingpin. Now, this man masqueraded as a preacher, but he wasn't. And just in case you haven't watched it, I'm not going to really go into too much detail because I don't want to ruin it for you. But the main character and his buddy were set up, and one ended up doing some time until he was released by this fine cop who wanted him to work with them to take the drug kingpin down. And so he did. He went undercover and pretended he wanted to join the drug kingpin's organization. At first I thought, there's no way he's going to fool this guy. He's too smart and too ruthless. But he did. The showstopper for me was one of the guys I didn't think would turn on him actually did. He was working undercover. And man, could that man fight. The main character had a sworn enemy. He didn't like him. He didn't trust him. He didn't want to work with him. And though he was a bad guy too, he hated the kingpin. What tugged at my heartstrings was he was going through so much with all of these bad guys, but he couldn't let his wife and children know. They thought he was away on business, and he was gone for quite a while. The main cop he was working with to take the preacher down was so fine. I can't tell you the ending because I want you to watch it, so I'll leave things here. Our next K-drama is The Glory. Now this one has very dark subject matter. The main character, I'll call her Doe, was bullied by a group of kids, some rich, some not. The bullying became so horrendous, she ended up dropping out of school. And she worked hard to go to college. And then she hatched a plan. She was determined to get every single one of them back. And baby, she did. She tracked each one down, found out what they were doing, who was still connected with who. She even learned the game of Go so that she could play with one of her rival's husbands. He was fine too. A silver lining in Glory, she met a good man to love her. He was a doctor, and he fell in love with her on sight. I wouldn't call The Glory a romance, but he had such deep feelings towards her, you couldn't help but root for him. Once she disclosed what she planned to do to the former bullies, he was on board and would be her avenger. Now that's what I'm talking about. Now Doe had the potential to be an iron-hard character, but they didn't write her that way. They made her vulnerable at just the right times. The bullies, now adults, were still just as ruthless with absolutely no remorse. So you had no choice but to root for Doe to get her revenge. Another sweet moment in The Glory was the relationship between the doctor and his mother. He lost his father through tragedy, and it made the bond between he and his mother stronger. Well, Dell felt like she had done everything she needed to do. She got her revenge, and she was going to do something really stupid. But the doctor's mother stepped in and pleaded with her to go back to her son. He was so in love with her, honey, he didn't want to live without her. I thought that was so sweet. So she got it together and went back to her doctor man. Towards the end, she learned he had an issue he needed to take care of, and she vowed to be his executioner. The glory is really, really good, and I recommend you watch it, but only if your mental health is in a very healthy spot. Our next K-drama, Missing the Other Side. Now this one was so beautiful, you guys. The main character, I liked him. He was cocky, he was handsome, and he knew it. And he told you. He had some struggles along the way. He lost his mother at a young age. She went missing, and he didn't know why. The beginning starts with him running a scam. It's not a good scam because he gets caught. The scam got him into trouble, and he started running for his life. Well, he saw something he wasn't supposed to and got into deeper trouble. And along the way, he found this magical place. It was a place where the souls of missing people went. They couldn't leave until their bodies were found. Once their bodies were found, then their souls could leave and pass on to the afterlife. Now here's what's so beautiful about this place. These were people from all different backgrounds, all walks of life, but they learned to have a community together and share together, laugh and love together. It reminds me of a site that I'm on right now called Spoutable. I'm taking a break from it now. And it's a shame it doesn't get recognition from media the way Blue Sky is or Twitter. But let me tell you, it is a community of the best people. Now, you're going to have toxic people wherever you go, but I'm not discussing that. I'm discussing the good people on Spoutable. They support you, root for you, and they're all committed for kids, elderly, the homeless. I'm telling you, if you're not on Spoutable, you need to be. It's a good community. Now back to Missing the Other Side. He wanders into this place by accident and finds a little boy that's missing. When he tries to bring the little boy back to his mother, he finds he can't. He doesn't realize the little boy has already passed on. When he finally catches on, he's shocked. And he has a partner that is dedicated to finding the people's bodies and keeping the secrets of the community. Over time, they become friends. An unlikely duo, but oh so funny. One of the people in the village doesn't like him, and she gives him a really hard time. As you keep watching, you'll find the woman who is giving him a hard time ends up being his mother. And the scenes between the two are so warm and so touching. It's really beautiful. What will really get to you is his older partner. He had a young daughter that went missing. Someone took her. And he was on a lifelong mission to find out where she was. Now, he was wealthy at first, but he ended up spending all of his money trying to find her. Missing posters, he would visit the police office. A really dedicated dad. I can't tell you what happens to him because then I'm going to tell you the ending. What I will say is when you find out what happened to his daughter, you just want to reach in the TV and hug him. It's kind of hard talking about K-dramas because I can't give away the endings because I want you to watch them, you guys. They're so good. There's a cop in it too, and he's cute. He's actually looking for his fiance who has gone missing. What impressed me about him? The depth of feeling of his character for his woman. He's a good cop, very thorough, and he does his job. And he leaves no doubt that although he wasn't the best fiance when she was in his life, she left a huge hole in his heart when she left. Our next K-drama, Flower of Evil. Honey, when I tell you this one had the fine men in it, this was very good writing. You think the main character is like a serial killer because he has to teach himself how to smile and how to read facial expressions. So at first when I watched, I said, I don't know about him. I think she should leave him. Come to find out, he wasn't a killer at all. It was his sister. But she wasn't an evil killer. She didn't mean to kill the guy that she killed. I know how that sounds, but it's true. And as a result, it spiraled her life into darkness. But there was a guy who was friends with the main character, and he was in love with the sister. And what was so sweet was she told him she lived in darkness. Literally, she had no lights in her house. This man went out and bought a light and put it in her house. Oh my God, he was loving on her. But she wouldn't give him the time of day. And I found myself wanting to snatch her edges because he was so cute and he was so nice to her. But she ended up going somewhere at the end of the show. But my dude was front and center, ready to take her calls whenever she called. It was so cute. But back to the main character. He was married to a cop. If you haven't caught on by now, I love the K-dramas with cops. She was very good at what she did. She was on a very good team, and she started suspecting him after a while. I wanted to snatch her edges too because she kept waffling back and forth. First of all, let me tell you, she was in love with this man, okay? She loved his draws. Even when she was trying to tell herself she wasn't in love with him, yes, she was. Now, he went through some things too. The main plot was him assuming another man's identity. And at first, I didn't understand why the guy's parents were having somebody, a total stranger, assume their son's identity until I got further into the K-drama and learned exactly who their son was. And let me tell you, he was dark and twisted, but that is one beautiful man. I can't tell you what the bad guy did because it's too dark. The drama ended up being a battle between the main character and the bad guy. I called one the White Knight and one the Dark Knight. And his relationship with his wife had a series of ups and downs too. Now, it was interesting because when the drama started, he really seemed to have no feelings for her. And he told his sister he never loved her, not even once. But as the drama went on, the lie detector proved that was a lie. Because as soon as she said she was transferring to another police agency, he damn near lost his mind. She didn't transfer. She ended up staying. The next one I have to tell you about is Beyond Evil. It's an older cop and a younger cop teaming up to solve a crime, a cold case. The younger cop was the son of a high-ranking politician, and his father was a total ass, okay? The younger cop was a hotshot, a little cutie, and he suspected the older cop of committing the cold case crimes. The older cop was innocent, and what's really beautiful about this K-drama, although he started out disrespecting the older cop, towards the end, he had such deep respect for him, he was in tears. I know, a heart tugger. I can't tell you too much because then I'll be telling you what happened, and I want you to watch it. Moving on to our last K-drama, Footmalls.com. And yes, cops were in this one too. It started out with a husband and wife, and the wife had a secret. Now, what I liked about Footmalls, the characters could log on to this magical account and change the course of their futures. They were able to purchase things off of this magical website and buy things to improve their lives at the expense of others. What I liked about Footmalls.com, in addition to changing your future, was they emphasized the importance of mental health. They had a doctor who was a therapist, and she treated some of the characters. But she struggled with an issue. She wasn't able to take care of herself. And of course, they had a very yummy cop. His name is Bruce Hung. His dimples, honey, oh my God. You can lose yourself in those dimples. I think he had a crush on the doctor, but there was one little catch. She was engaged to his brother and very much in love with his ungrateful ass. Was he a good fiance? No. I personally think she should have ended up with the brother, but you know how that goes, ladies. Futmos.com has a lot of dark subject matter. So again, if you're going to watch it, make sure your mental health is in a good space. Oh no, wait. I can't leave without telling you about Reflection of You. Reflection of You was about a married woman who had an affair with a younger man. I had no sympathy for her throughout the entire 16 episodes. It all started when a teacher attacked her daughter. I call her Green Coat because she wore a green coat for the majority of the K-drama. Well, as it turns out, even though she was wrong, she had a history with the mama. You see, the mama cheated with her boyfriend, Woo Jae. As a matter of fact, she wanted to marry Woo Jae. Well, the mother ends up running off to Ireland, and Woo Jae followed. Now here it is, she married into a conglomerate, honey. Her husband was fine and rich. She was supposed to go to Ireland to paint, but she ended up stroking Woo Jae's paintbrush most nights. All while her husband funded her trip and sent her money. Such a trash wife and mother. Well, honey, Green Coat showed up to remind her that she had taken her boyfriend and she had not forgiven her for it. In the meantime, Woo Jae was still in Ireland. He got himself into a bit of trouble. The woman's husband found out about the affair and forgave her. She ended up getting pregnant and didn't know if the baby was her husband's or Woo Jae's. Guess what? I know, but I'm not going to tell you. Her mother-in-law couldn't stand her, and she was such a horrible woman herself. What I didn't like about Reflection of You, they made Green Coat's character so miserable for this man. The mother's brother, stay with me, ended up having a crush on Green Coat. Now, he was a doctor, he was cute, he was fun, nothing like brooding, evil, selfish Woo Jae. But for some reason, Green Coat was just stuck on this man. She and Woo Jae ended up getting married. Oh my God, what a disaster. And Woo Jae lost his memory. Well, he went back to Ireland to get it back because he kept having flashes of the mother. And he kept asking her, "Do I know you? Were we involved?" And of course, she was looking stupid and wouldn't answer his questions. Well, Woo Jae ended up getting his memory back. And honey, you want to talk toxic? Woo Jae was fun. Oh my God. But he was an asshole and a junkie and an alcoholic. Spoiled rotten. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. He stalked that woman. Even though her husband told him, "Stay away from my wife," he disrespected everybody's boundaries. Green Coat ended up overdosing, and the doctor came to her rescue. Woo Jae was so trifling, he didn't even go check on her. Well, as you can imagine, it all came to a head in disaster. I can't tell you what happened because I want you to watch it. Let's just say everybody got their karma, and it was punctual. The only one I felt sorry for was the husband. Reflection of You was very good. I binged on that one. So much so I felt like I had to tape my eyelids open, but I couldn't stop watching it. I'm telling you, honey, Netflix has some bomb K-dramas, and I can't wait to find another one to sink my eyes into. Well, friends, I'm out of time. If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to follow me on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you listen from. I will be back with another story or two. Be easy. Have a good weekend. And as always,